The United States 1-cent coin, popularly called the penny, has been in continuous circulation since 1793, making it the longest-running coin denomination in American history. By 1995, the penny had already been in circulation for over 2 centuries, and the Lincoln cent had dominated the series since its introduction in 1909. The Lincoln cent was first issued to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, was chosen for the design as a tribute to his leadership during the Civil War and his legacy as a great emancipator. He became the first real person ever depicted on a U.S. circulating coin, breaking from the earlier tradition of symbolic figures like liberty. The 1995 cent, therefore, is part of this long-running series. It belongs to the Lincoln Memorial reverse type, which was minted from 1959 through 2008, replacing the original wheat ears design. On the obverse of the 1995 1-cent coin, we see the familiar bust of Abraham Lincoln facing right. This portrait was created by Victor David Brenner, a Lithuanian-born American sculptor, and has been used continuously since 1909, making it the longest-running obverse design in U.S. coinage history. Lincoln is shown in a dignified profile, with careful detailing of his facial features, beard, and suit. Brenner chose this design after studying photographs and sculptures of Lincoln, wanting to capture both his resolve and his humanity. Lincoln's gaze is steady and contemplative, symbolizing leadership, honesty, and the endurance of the Union. Several inscriptions surround the portrait. Liberty appears to the left of Lincoln. This word has appeared on nearly all U.S. coins since the late 18th century, representing the nation's foundational value of freedom. In God We Trust appears above Lincoln's head, first added to U.S. coins during the Civil War era and made mandatory on most coinage in the 1950s. On the penny, it frames Lincoln's image like a moral compass, associating faith with governance. To the right of Lincoln's portrait is the date 1995, marking the year of issue. Below the date is the mint mark, if any. In 1995, cents were produced at the Philadelphia, no mint mark, Denver, D, and San Francisco, S for proofs, mints. Together, these inscriptions tie the coin to America's ideals, liberty, faith, and national leadership, the Lincoln Memorial. The reverse of the 1995 penny depicts the Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparro in 1959. This design was introduced to celebrate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth and replaced the earlier wheat ears reverse. The Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., is one of the most iconic monuments in the United States, dedicated in 1922 to honor the president's memory. Gasparro's design captures its neoclassical architecture, a broad building with columns, stays, and the central statue of Lincoln faintly visible inside if examined under magnification. Though on the reverse are United States of America along the top, affirming the issuing nation. E pluribus unum above the memorial, a Latin motto meaning out of many, one. It reflects the unity of the states into a single nation, one of the central achievements of Lincoln's presidency. At the bottom, the denomination is spelled out as 1 cent. This reverse design was meant not only to honor Lincoln, but also to remind Americans of his enduring role in holding the Union together. Specifications and technical details. The 1995 Lincoln cent has the following physical characteristics. Composition: copper-plated zinc, 97.5% zinc, 2.5% copper. Weight: 2.5 grams. Diameter: 19.05 millimeters, 0.75 inches. Thickness: 1.52 millimeters. Edge: plain, smooth. It is important to note that this composition was introduced in 1982. Prior to that, cents were made primarily of bronze, 95% copper, 5% tin, and zinc. The switch to copper-plated zinc was made to save costs, as copper prices rose sharply. Thus, the 1995 penny is part of the modern, lighter, copper-coated zinc era. Mintage and varieties. The 1995 Lincoln cent was struck in enormous numbers, as the penny has always been the most widely produced U.S. coin. Approximate mintages are as follows. Philadelphia, no mint mark tilde 6.4 billion. Denver, D tilde 7.1 billion. San Francisco, S proof tilde 2.8 million. Together, Over 13.5 billion circulation strike pennies were produced in 1995, making it one of the most common dates of the series. However, there's one notable variety from this year. The 1995 double dial bust DDO struck at the Philadelphia Mint. On these era coins, the words liberty and in God we trust show clear doubling, visible to the naked eye. This variety is highly sought after by collectors, especially in higher grades. America in 1995. To understand the cultural backdrop of this coin, we can look at what was happening in the United States in 1995. Bill Clinton was serving his first term as president. His administration was marked by debates over the federal budget, welfare reform, and trade agreements like NAFTA. The U.S. economy was strong, marked by growth in technology and globalization. Yet inflation fears and trade deficits were still being debated. 1995 saw significant events such as the Oklahoma City bombing, one of the deadliest acts of domestic terrorism in U.S. history. It was also the year of the O.J. Simpson trial verdict, which deeply divided public opinion. The mid-1990s were marked by rapid advances in personal computing, with the rise of Windows 95, the Internet's growing popularity, and cultural shifts in music, film, and fashion. Through all of this, the Lincoln cent continued to serve as the most basic unit of U.S. currency, linking the daily lives of millions of Americans to the memory of Abraham Lincoln. By 1995, the penny had already lost much of its purchasing power due to inflation. While it could still be used in vending machines, payphones, and as part of exact change, it was increasingly seen as a low-value coin. Many people would accumulate pennies in jars rather than spend them actively. The 1995 penny was still essential for pricing that ended in 0.99 or 0.95, a common marketing practice in American retail. Businesses relied on it to give proper change, and children often collected them for school projects, allowance, or coin jars. For collectors, most 1995 cents were unremarkable in circulation, but rolls of fresh, bright coins could still be found from banks, and the double-die variety created buzz in the numismatic community. Today, the 1995 penny remains one of the most common Lincoln Memorial cents. In circulated condition, it is worth only face value, as billions were produced. However, uncirculated and proof examples have collector value, especially in high grades. The 1995 double dial bust is the standout variety, with values ranging from tens to hundreds of dollars depending on condition. Beyond monetary value, the 1995 cent represents a piece of America in the mid-1990s, a time of rapid technological change, political challenges, and cultural transformation.